Izumi is an ugly, weak high school student with incredibly bad luck. Despite this, he has an aggressive and overprotective girlfriend who tries to get cultured with him every chance she gets. But before any of this, Izumi is a kind and upbeat high school student who's got a serious case of bad luck. As he heads to school, Izumi is determined not to keep a special someone waiting. While on his way, he trips on the pavement within seconds of leaving the house and falls over a rope to avoid a bird drop. Mishaps occur, and he then stumbles and encounters an older woman, even losing his hair's perfect appearance. Despite all of this, Izumi remains in good spirits. He meets up with his girlfriend, Shikimori, a cute girl who also happens to save him from being hit by a speeding truck. However, when Izumi thinks aloud, a comment about her not being cute leads to an awkward exchange. Despite their rocky start with an awkward exchange earlier, they are thrilled to find out they are in the same class for another year and share this excitement with their friends, Inuzuka, Nekazaki, and Hachimitsu, who confirm they will also be in the same class. When Shikimori overhears some of their other classmates telling Izumi that he is too dull and attracts bad luck to be in a relationship with such a cute girl, she retrieves Izumi, casting a cold eye at them. Shikimori goes to a bowling alley with Izumi and their friends. There, Izumi asks Shikimori if she has ever bowled before. She mentions not often, and after Izumi walks away, Nekazaki and Hachimitsu tell her to pretend to be bad at the game to appear cuter and attract some boys' attention. Nekazaki, Hachimitsu, and Inuzuka seem to be good at the sport. However, when it is Isumi's turn, as usual, his bad luck strikes again. He is unable to make a strike after several tries, and his friends laugh at him as they expect it to happen anyway. Izumi then encourages Shikimori before her turn. She ends up bowling a perfect game, and everyone cheers as this makes Shikimori the goat of the bowling. As they walk home, the wind blows a newspaper towards Izumi, but Shikimori manages to catch it. Izumi tells Shikimori that he feels pathetic for having her defend him all the time, being unable to make it up to her. She tells him that she is used to the bad luck that happens around him and asks him why he didn't take offense when his friends were mocking him earlier. He says he is okay with it. Just then, a large sign falls towards Izumi, but Shikimori deflects it. She tells Izumi not to worry, and that all he needs to do is stay by her side, and she will always protect him. The next day, Shikimori and Izumi's class holds their sports competitions. As they prepare, Inuzuka tells Izumi that the girls are set to play volleyball, while the boys will play soccer. Izumi, though, is worried that his bad luck might throw some shade on his game. Shikimori comes over, and they all head to class. There, they realize that their games are starting at the same time, and they can't cheer for each other. Izumi becomes sentimental and suggests that even when they are apart, they will still be cheering for the other. During the soccer match, Homeboy can't even connect with the soccer ball. Shikimori worries about him, and just as she decides to check on him, he gets hit in the head by the ball. He is taken into care by Shikimori, whose volleyball match is about to start. They relax for a while in the nurse's office, where Izumi tells Shikimori about his past injuries and accidents. Shikimori says her goodbyes to go play the game, and Izumi mentions that he is also capable of protecting her. Then, Shikimori teases him by suggesting she might skip the match to get cultured with him under his bedsheets, perhaps ending up having a plot. During Shikimori's volleyball match, they start losing the game, but a healed Izumi arrives and encourages Shikimori from the stands. She proceeds to play exceptionally, alongside Nekazaki. After an eventful tournament, with Shikimori's volleyball team achieving victory, Izumi congratulates Shikimori on the court. Kamiya, the other team's best volleyball player, leaves disappointed. Izumi recognizes the girl, feeling he knows her from somewhere. Shikimori's popularity continues to grow as she receives numerous requests from any girls who praise and adore her. Seeing this, Izumi decides to stand aside, while Shikimori struggles to get past her admirers to reach Izumi. Moments later, Inuzuka quickly saves him from a stray volleyball that comes through the window, hitting him in the face. Izumi apologizes to Inuzuka for his bad luck, but the way he tends to Inuzuka enrages Shikimori. Later, Izumi contemplates having to walk home alone due to Shikimori's newfound celebrity status. While on his way home, Izumi nearly falls down the stairs, but Shikimori saves him in time. Angry, she scolds him for wanting to walk home without her. Izumi tells her he was going to the school entrance to wait for her, and that he misses being with her. This excites Shikimori, and she happily agrees to walk home with him. In class, Inuzuka gives 2 movie coupons to Izumi. Izumi uses them to invite a delighted Shikimori. Preparing for the date, Izumi packs a bag with all the necessary items to counter his usual bad luck. Recalling his previous dates with Shikimori that were ruined by misfortunes, such as the weather being a total savage, or the time he dropped his wallet and lost most of his allowance. During most of these mishaps, Shikimori always just smiles and lets things slide. So this time, he packs 2 umbrellas in case it starts raining and ties his wallet to a string to ensure its safety. Meanwhile, Shikimori has a hard time deciding what to wear. She consults magazines and empties her wardrobe when her brother interrupts her preparations. The next day, Izumi starts his day early and meets with her. He is stunned by her appearance. They take the train and Izumi's mind goes wild, thinking he's going to be lucky and at least get his sausage serviced. They arrive at the cinema, where Izumi lets Shikimori choose a movie, and she opts for a horror film. Izumi believes he will demonstrate his manliness to her. However, the opposite happens. Izumi wimps out, and Shikimori comforts a terrified Izumi. After the movie, they head to a bakery, but Izumi realizes he has lost his wallet despite his preventive measures. Disappointed, they run into Izumi's parents, who invite Shikimori over for dinner. During dinner, Shikimori manages to catch a fork going straight for Izumi's head. Shikimori expresses how great the food is and mentions it's been a while since she had a home-cooked meal. The parents warmly welcome her into their home. After eating, Shikimori offers to help with the dishes while Izumi has fallen asleep. Motoko, his mother, thanks Shikimori for her patience and for always being by Izumi's side. She explains to her how Izumi's caring and friendly nature stems from his constant injuries as a child. Izumi cares deeply for everyone around him. Shikimori promises to keep him on lock, and Motoko is thrilled. Shikimori then notices Motoko's clumsiness and wonders if that's where Izumi gets his bad luck. When Izumi's mother wakes him from his nap, he finds Shikimori playing video games with his father, Akasada. Later, as he walks her home, Shikimori tells Izumi that they should watch a movie he likes next time. The next day, Izumi and his friends hang out in the shade because Izumi's bad luck attracts an insect that flies straight to its head. A few minutes later, Shikimori tosses Izumi a bottle of water. The gang discusses where they want to go on their vacation. Nekozaki and Inuzuka propose the beach, but they then decide against it when they remember Izumi's sensitivity to the sun. Inuzuka ultimately proposes the river, and they all agree because that is where they can all enjoy the vacation. Hatamitsu playfully mocks Izumi being washed away by the tides, but Shikimori says she will be there to protect him. Inuzuka and Izumi want to study for their exams, but instead, Nekozaki tricks them all by taking them to the mall to buy supplies for their vacation. Shikimori notices Izumi glaring at an ad of a woman wearing a swimsuit. She sets off embarrassed and ends up shopping for a swimsuit. Inside the store, Nekozaki finds her. Nekozaki recalls the time they became friends, which was when Shikimori defeated her in a basketball match due to her competitiveness. Inuzuka and Izumi, surprisingly, keep the study session going even when the girls decide to bounce back. Shikimori bought the swimsuit but hides it from Izumi when he asks her about it. On her way home, Izumi explains his string of bad luck that happened during his exam when all his writing materials stopped working. While at home, Izumi receives a call from Shikimori. On the phone call, Izumi tells Shikimori to look up at the stars as he explains the bad luck he has when he tries to stargaze with his father. Shikimori promises to see the stars properly with him and insists on going places he wants to go together. Happy, Izumi thanks her and says he really wanted to see her. After hanging up, Shikimori ponders how much she wanted to see Izumi at that moment. Sometime later, Shikimori attends a cooking class with Motoko. Izumi and his friends arrive at the river town. Inuzuka comments on the great weather, even with Izumi's presence. They decide to have a barbecue bash. Because of Inuzuka's poor knife skills, Hakamitsu likens it to killing the onion. Izumi proves to be a skilled cook, prompting Shikimori to attempt cooking herself. After everything is prepared, Shikimori asks Izumi to try her food. Izumi is blown away by how bad it is. Shikimori takes a try and also spits it out, but seeing how much effort she put into it, Izumi forces himself to eat it all, prompting Shikimori to promise to become better at cooking, and this amazes the others. After having some s'mores that Izumi made, especially for Shikimori, they finally head down to the river. While down there, Izumi goes all hero mode and tries to save a little girl being carried away by the current. But after saving her, Izumi's foot cramps as he tries to climb up. Seeing this, Shikimori dives in to rescue him. Once on land, Shikimori asks why Izumi didn't call out for help. However, the girl Izumi saved from the river approaches and thanks him with a kiss on the cheek. This makes Shikimori get a little worked up. They head down to swim, where Izumi finally tells Shikimori that she looks cute in her new swimsuit. They return to the town, where they get some new clothing and end up having some ice cream, where Izumi gives Shikimori an indirect kiss after eating from her cone. Before she can do the same, Inuzuka appears and eats Izumi's cone, enraging her. As they head home, they all fall asleep on the train back home except Izumi, who reflects on how lucky he is to have found his group of friends. Shikimori wakes up, and after seeing Izumi asleep on Inuzuka's shoulder, she moves his head onto herself. The next day, while on the phone with Shikimori, Izumi hears about the upcoming fireworks festival scheduled for the weekend and invites Shikimori to attend with him. Meanwhile, Motoko gifts Izumi a yukata to wear for the occasion. Shikimori enlists the help of her brother to tie her own yukata. Prepared for any mishaps, Izumi ensures he's set with a backup plan in case he loses his wallet and carries bandages for potential injuries. They rendezvous at the festival's entrance and explore various stalls before indulging in cotton candy. Izumi wishes to buy Shikimori one, still feeling down for being unable to do things in return for her. But she explains that she is not much of a sweet tooth and that she likes sugar because of a special someone. She explains that seeing him happy is enough for her. They then go to a shooting game where Izumi is very terrible at it. However, Shikimori steps up and shows off her skills, winning a stuffed wolf. This impresses both Izumi and the stall operator. Shortly after, they reunite with their friends, and the girls pose for photos in their yukatas. The boys, on the other hand, choose to play a goldfish scooping game. Nekozaki intervenes to ensure that Shikimori doesn't get overly competitive with Inuzuka, reminding her of the real reason they came to the festival. Izumi reveals a special place that his father told him about, where they can best watch the fireworks and where it won't be so crowded. However, due to her bruised feet, Izumi offers to carry her until they arrive at the top of the slope before they miss the show. Izumi confesses that he wants to see her smile and adds that he wanted to invite Shikimori the previous year as well, but was too cowardly to do so. She reveals she was waiting for him back then to pick up the phone and call him, but she adds that she is happy to be with him in this moment. As they are about to leave, Izumi trips, but is saved by Akasada, who reveals he attended the spot with Motoko, and the two didn't notice them sitting behind them. The school prepares for their cultural festival. Izumi's costume designing skills are on fleek, but poor Shikimori's stuck with the decorations crew. Izumi can't help but be salty, giving Shikimori the side eye when she joins the other group. The same happens to Shikimori when Inuzuka walks in. During the first day of the festival, Izumi is a bit nervous since his class's exhibit is more demanding. When he gets to the entrance, he is handed a paper heart with a number on it, and Izumi quickly recognizes the game as he participated in it the previous year. In class, Izumi wears his giraffe costume and commends how cute Shikimori looks in her costume for their animal cafe. During the day, Izumi is overwhelmed with his work and nearly trips. However, Shikimori catches him on time and tells him that he can ask for help rather than do everything himself. The next day, Izumi attends library duty, discovering that the only other person present is Kamiya, the volleyball team's best player. As such, he recalls when he met her when they were paired together for library duty the previous year. Their classes were next to each other, and she was very friendly and talked to him openly. Back in the present, Izumi asks what their class is doing for the festival, and is shocked to find out they both have a cafe to run. Izumi compliments Kamiya that her classmates must really depend on her, which she does point out that people cried when they tried to stop her from leaving the previous day. A flashback of their early interactions demonstrates how open and friendly Kamiya was back then. Kamiya then aggressively asks Izumi about how he began dating Shikimori. Meanwhile, Shikimori's low-key triggered cause her number ain't matching with Izumi's in the couple numbers game. Hakimitsu breaks the fourth wall and spills the tea, explaining that the game has students with the same number take pictures together before they start dating. And that is why Shikimori is devastated, because she doesn't want any random person to pair up with Izumi. Meanwhile, after sensing that Kamiya might like Shikimori, Izumi tells her their story. During last year's cultural festival, Izumi and Shikimori got the same number and had their date at the festival. However, Izumi lost the slip when he was about to take a photo with Shikimori, and was initially denied the picture by the student president. However, after he insisted on how much he wanted this picture with Shikimori, the president made an exception for them. Afterwards, Izumi asked Shikimori out, and they began dating. Later, Kamiya imagines herself as a princess, unable to pursue her forbidden love, Izumi. In her daydream, she watches him show affection to Shikimori, with everything fading away at midnight. In reality, Kamiya and Izumi discuss a popular fairy tale movie that's been trending recently. Kamiya mentions that she has watched the movie multiple times, which surprises Izumi, as he hadn't expected such a feminine side to her. Kamiya shares her review of the movie, noting that girls who simply wait around are not exactly in vogue currently. She goes on to mention another quote said by the main character of the movie about anything important to you should be kept within the heart and not shared. Nekozaki calls Kamiya outside, where she meets with Shikimori, who asks Kamiya to switch numbers with her, having found that she has Izumi's number. Kamiya agrees and hands her the slip. However, while they wait and pass time, Shikimori notices Kamiya's comfort around Izumi. After finishing her duties, Kamiya returns to the cafe where business becomes active upon her arrival. Later on, Kamiya reflects on the rooftop, wanting to bury her feelings, but Shikimori arrives and tries to give her the slip back. She explains she realized she does not want to be unfair to her feelings. The scene flashes back to Kamiya, hurriedly leaving a cafe to visit the library just to spend time with Izumi. Later, she vows not to get close to Izumi again. Seeing her distress, Shikimori tears up the paper Kamiya wrote on and lets her cry on her shoulder, advising her to treasure her feelings and thanking her for her kindness. After Shikimori departs, Kamiya silently wishes the couple happiness. On the final day of the festival, Izumi brings Shikimori to a park. He presents her with a heart-shaped locket as a birthday gift. Overwhelmed with emotion, Shikimori bursts into tears and embraces Izumi, pledging to always stay by his side. At school, Nekozaki welcomes Inuzuka with news that Izumi is out sick for the day. But Inuzuka mentions that Izumi texted him already and asked him for his notes. This makes Shikimori jealous since Izumi didn't say anything to her. Inuzuka complains that Shikimori acts as if Inuzuka is trying to snatch her boyfriend from her. Shikimori then asks if she can accompany Inuzuka. However, Nekozaki dispatches Hachimitsu to keep an eye on them. They walk into a grocery store, where Shikimori asks Inuzuka to choose snacks for Izumi. She presents him with a choice between two types of candy. Afterwards, Shikimori offers one bag to Inuzuka and tells him the other bag belongs to Izumi. Akamitsu appears and tells them that after watching them, she has realized that Shikimori sees Inuzuka as an older brother, due to her coldness with her own brother, and that's why she craves his attention. Shikimori becomes embarrassed, confirming Hachi's theory. Sometime later, Shikimori and Nekozaki find Kamiya at the mall. Nekozaki initially doubts Kamiya will hang out with them, but she accepts, and Nekozaki is impressed with how playful and friendly Kamiya is with Shikimori. They visit a pet shop and take photos all around the mall. After playing some machine games where Shikimori wins a bunch of trophies and hands them to Kamiya, they later in their day run into some girls at a basketball court, and then they compete to use a basketball court. After they manage to win, they all take a group picture. After Shikimori leaves, Nekozaki tells Kamiya she always wanted to hang out with her, that she always seemed in pain, and asks her who made her smile in the way she did today. Kamiya does not answer but tells Nekozaki that she wishes to tell her someday. As they leave, Nekozaki wishes for Kamiya to keep smiling and discovering new feelings. The cultural festival wrapped up, and they announced that the next event would be a mixed relay race involving both boys and girls. Izumi had low self-esteem, as he was already sure he would not be of much help due to his bad luck. Despite not wanting to race, both Izumi and Hachimitsu ended up being selected for their class relay team for the upcoming sports festival. To make up for it, Shikimori then traded for a position on the relay team in order to protect Izumi. Their friends completed the team, and Hachimitsu and Izumi told the group that they might slow the team down, so they all decided to begin training after school. However, both Izumi and Hachimitsu struggled to improve their handoffs during their training. The team decided that as long as they could nail the handoffs, they should be able to recover in the race. So the two stayed behind and continued practicing late after their friends had left. During the athletic festival, the first event failed miserably. Then Hachimitsu impressed her friends with her ball tossing skills, managing to finish in second place. Even though she was slow, she had great aim and managed to win for her class. After the ball tossing competition, the relay race started and Nekozaki's speed easily put her in front. Meanwhile, Shikimori encouraged Hachimitsu. When Nekozaki handed off the stick to Hatamitsu, she tried to give it her all but tripped and fell due to overthinking. Ignoring the drive for victory, Hakamitsu mustered the strength to stand and continue, fueled by the thought of her friend's smiles if they clinched the win. She passed the baton to Izumi, who had lost one shoe in the race. Unfazed, he discarded his remaining shoe. After receiving the baton, Shikimori sprinted with determination, regaining the lost distance. Once she handed off the baton to the anchor, Induzuka, he managed to complete the comeback, leading their class to victory in the festival. Overjoyed, Hakamitsu expressed her gratitude to her team, proclaiming her pride in calling them her friends and sharing how much fun she had. A young Izumi narrowly escapes being hit by a bicycle, starting his day in the nurse's office. The nurse advises him to rest and skip gym class for the day. Later, his friends invite him to join their group for an upcoming field trip. Plagued by thoughts of his continual bad luck, young Izumi hopes for the resilience to bear all the pain and sorrow that comes his way, and silently wishes for a hero to come to his rescue. In the present, Shikimori is shopping for clothes for a date with Izumi with her brother, Fuji. Shikimori can't really decide what she wants to get. With the cultural festival and Izumi's illness, they haven't had the chance to go on an actual date, so they decide to visit an amusement park. She meets a bunch of girls shooting their shot with the shy Fuji, and she comes to save him from the crowd. A flashback shows a younger Shikimori, who was a caret prospect alongside him. One day at Shikimori's home, Fuji tells her he would be leaving karate. Her mother asks her if she will continue with karate, because it is unusual for her to start something new all on her own. Later on, Shikimori protects some girls from boys who are bullying them. After karate practice, Fuji tells her to be herself and find out who she wants to be by abstaining from trying to be like him or their mother. Later that day, her friend shows her a manga. After reading the romantic manga, her female side is unlocked, and she agrees to quit karate, become a cute girl, and fall in love when she starts high school. She adds that it had always been easier chasing after her brother or mother, because she was never worried about the things she wore or how her hair looked. She just did what they told her to, and that was enough for her. Then, Shikimori began working out to lose weight, even adding in clothes shopping with her mother. On her high school entrance exam day, she saw Izumi for the first time who dropped his exam ticket, and the wind blew it away up in the trees. An adult present on the scene offers to go get a ladder before the exam. Shikimori doesn't wait for him, but retrieves his exam ticket from high up the tree. She believed she had made a bad first impression on him for acting weird, so she runs off. However, on their first day of high school, she meets with Izumi again, who is glad she is okay and expresses his joy to see her. Izumi tells her about his bad luck and the trouble he has caused the people around him. Shikimori is mind-blown by how Izumi is comfortable with her acting weird. Back in the present, Shikimori is having a crisis about her looks. She then sees a cute lipstick, which she thinks will boost her confidence but refuses to buy it when she sees its price. Having decided on the clothes to wear, Fuji surprises Shikimori with the lipstick she wanted, so she leaves for her date. At the amusement park, Izumi meets Shikimori, who looks stylish with the coat she borrowed from her mother. During their date, they start with a gift shop where Shikimori gets dressed as a vampire. They then enter a Sleeping Beauty-themed ride together. Izumi explains the fairy tale story to Shikimori. Izumi didn't pick Shikimori to watch the fairy tale bit, but she tries to clear up the air by saying she likes stories that give her a bit of an edge. Izumi asks her if she has any dreams, so she reveals in middle school she read this romance manga, and it made her feel that love was amazing, and that her dream was experiencing it for herself. She adds that her dream has already come true and love has been fulfilled. While the rest get bored in line, the two are having a blast with their conversations. When they get on the ride, Izumi realizes that the ride is slower than waiting for your crush to reply, and that there are some aromatic fragrances with pretty music. Near the end, Izumi falls asleep, so Shikimori goes to kiss him. The ride ends before she can, and the ride supervisor disturbs them. They then have a blast at the park, and as night falls, they head to a restaurant where they find out that their table had been mistakenly given away. So they are given another venue at a very high-end restaurant. Shikimori explains to Izumi that when they are together, everything seems prettier than usual, and that makes her wonder how the world looks through his eyes. The flirting continues, which makes them both blush. After leaving, Shikimori remembers the commercial for the park, which featured a couple kissing. She then asks Izumi to do the thing from the commercial. Izumi instead grabs her hand and describes what was happening when the parents both held the little girl by the hand and the old couple holding hands. Izumi later realizes what she really meant, and then they board a gondola ride. Before they take a picture, a power outage stops the gondola and leaves them stranded. They can only see each other using their phones. Izumi hopes that the power returns soon, but Shikimori mentions that they've finally found their alone time. She adds that it feels like a dream and just for the moment. There is nothing else to steal their attention, and that if she could have a dream like that, she wouldn't want to wake up. Izumi recalls Shikimori's fear of him drifting away from her. To reassure her, he kisses her on the cheek, telling her that he loves her and will always be with her. A delighted Shikimori holds him tightly as the lights come back on, exclaiming how she is happier than in any dream. Back in school, Izumi has butterflies in his stomach, as he can't unwrap his arms from previously hugging Shikimori. Shikimori tells Nekozaki and Hachimitsu what happened. When she mentions it was just a kiss on the cheek, she explains that the experience of trying to be sweet and make her feel better is what made the kiss feel special. She promises to be more open-hearted like Izumi, as Hachimitsu and Nekozaki accept it as long as they are happy. Will Izumi finally be able to be more open to his girlfriend or not? If you have reached this far, let's confuse the fake fans by commenting, "Rip Izumi."